On the 19th of September, Social Media Today reported that, quote, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is one of 49 signatories on a new open letter that urges the EU regulators to loosen the restrictions on AI development in order to avoid the region falling behind on the rest of the world regarding the broader AI race. Meta and others' views is that the EU will fall behind on how amazing or not a lot of the AI models is going to be. However, there is wider reporting that is where people are not overly happy with the fact that Meta is using a lot of its platforms, so a lot of your posts, to train its AI data models. So there was a large kind of conversation that really coerced or really happened and really showcased the reality when it came to ensuring or questioning whether people were going to be happy with their posts being used as a data model for Meta AI, which is Mark Zuckerberg's new AI model, and it's one of the leading data models. We're seeing this rise in people kind of running or rushing towards a data model to specifically grow their way forward or grow and be the chalice of the best AI to be used. And I think there is going to be a reality where, the AI is out of the bottle now, right? We're never going to be in a world where we can't utilize it and use it. And I think that those who learn the skill set learn how to use it and how to leverage it. There's obviously a legal question and a legal argument regarding the copyright of content that's being used to train the models, but I think the reality, regardless of what happens with that legal argument, is going to be if you can use your ChatGPTs, your Meta AIs, etc., to up what you're doing, that's always going to be valuable to the market to help you move yourself forward, help you be in a position where you can move forward in that regard as well. This also comes as a time where there has been some reports where some people who, there's been a large conversation in the stock market around people pumping a lot of money into the AI stocks, these big tech companies looking to, really, really develop large sums of money to develop these AI products and these AI data models. And now the question is, and it's starting to come out now, that the people who've done that, the people who've really invested in it, have said, well, where's the money? It's not getting that much better. It's not becoming this miraculous solution that everyone thought it was. So this is a time where it's suddenly losing some momentum, or it's starting to lose momentum. So is that going to be the continued trend, or are we 2, 3, 6 months away from the new jump in technology, the new jump in AI? There was also some reports around, it was kind of the conversation and the argument was around, do Europe want to be the forefront or the forerunner on making sure or being in a position where they are the head of the regulation? And is that going to be concerned, or is that going to be misrepresented or seen potentially as, or instead of it being ahead on AI technology itself? And we could be in a world where if Europe regulation continues to exist and continues to be the way it is, that we as Europe could fall behind in respect to what's out there, what we can use, how we can use it, because of the regulation, because of the combined laws like the GDPR laws and etc. that do exist in Europe, where they're less freeing. And that's why this letter is calling for more freer regulation, or freer from regulation, to not slow down AI's growth and AI's been able to use those data models and build better data models and be able to make AI better and more useful. Did you know that 98.7% of you do not subscribe to the channel? So I would really, really appreciate it if you're enjoying the content, enjoying the topics, enjoying the show, if you could subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when I put out a new topic video. I guess this brings up the question of, is it going to be growth at all costs just to make it better, or should we make sure that we're growing in the right way And Social Media Today reported at the end of its article, there is some fair notes on both, quote, there is some fair notes on both sides, but I'm not sure I would agree that having corporate entities implying public pressure on regulatory groups in order to benefit their own interests, end quote. This again leads back to that conversation regarding how much power does big tech have, especially if we're going to be in a world where they have the data models, they have the AI technology. Is this going to be a position, or is this going to be a reality where we're going to have the quote unquote misinformation level conversation related to AI growth as well? Because I think it's very concerning, or we shouldn't be, in my opinion, in a world where the large tech companies can pressure and lobby the regulators to basically give them free rein, because we haven't. Unfortunately, it was one of these conversations. I remember watching a video and reading an article from a couple of months ago now, which was like, we should have done this before AI was out of the model, right? We should have had these moral conversations about that, and it would be interesting to see how the legal system does tackle potential copyright infringements. We're seeing it where people's copyrighted works regarding their stock photography, or Adobe had some issues with it, but also book publishers have had issues with it, where these AI models are just scalping as much data as they can that's in quote unquote public domain, but it's completely removing or completely not thinking about the concept of people's copyright. People's, are you, something that I go out of my way not to do is plagiarize. And if I'm going to quote something, I quote it. And if I'm going to give you my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion, right? AI is kind of blowing aside or pushing aside copyright and plagiarizing law, right? As well. So are we going to see a world where the legal powers that be, or the regulators that be, are going to go after that potentially and maybe slow down AI's progress? Or maybe is this as good as we're going to get AI? Yes, it's useful. Yes, it's usable in some realities and some contexts. But is this going to be the slowing down of AI's growth, leading into that stock conversation? When is it going to get to the point where it can quote unquote think for itself? When are we going to be able to create a world where we can actually run these computer farms that run the AI models as well? That's another thing that we need to think about, as well, because it takes a huge amount of computing power to assimilate this data and build these big data farm models. But they're my thoughts and my opinions. Do you agree with the letter that Meta put together or joined in that? Do you agree that larger big tech companies can push on regulators from public pressure to quote unquote open the gates or open the floodgates on AI development? Let me know in the comment section down below.